This is the new.
Okay, so to kick it off, can you introduce yourself and give a bit of a brief description about the new and what it is about?
Yeah, sure. I'm Darius. I sing in the new, but I also write all the stuff for the new, like, because it's sort of like a solo project with like a band, but I like to call it a band. Kind of similar to like Tame Impala or like Youngblood, like that sort of dynamic. Yeah, I say like, we're from Birmingham as well, and I always say to people, like, it sort of sounds like if the Killers went to Ibiza on holiday. I like to like that's like my little like tagline. I feel like you should have a tagline. Yeah, I mean we've been a band for like nearly 2 years now. It's fun. It's really fun. I think that's about it, really. Yeah.
So we know that your music has quite a lot of an electronic sound to it. Could you just talk us through any of your influences that may be involved?
Yeah, like especially for like electronics and stuff. There's a band called Crystal Castles, who I'm not gonna lie, right? I didn't really know who they were until I saw them live, and I was just like, they're one of those bands that like you see them live, and so I was like very influenced by them, especially like when I first started the project, and then M83 as well. They're like a big influence of mine. A lot for like electronic stuff. Yeah, a lot of it comes from that and like EDM as well. But like there's parts of EDM I find quite cheesy. Whereas like there's some parts of it I'm like, whoa, like, that sounded cool. That sounded massive. Yeah, it comes from that sort of like area really, and then I mix it with like older influences I've had. Like Linkin Park is a massive influence I've had since like day one. That's been like the sort of day one band that I've like fell in love with. So like it's sort of like taking those ideas and those dance ideas and putting them in different places. It's sort of like a big influence that came from Linkin Park and just like how they were just like really innovative at the time.
So you have a very distinctive artistic image all over your social media with like the black background and the kind of blue digital kind of style text. Where did the idea of this come from, and what made you choose to kind of have that image for you guys?
I've always sort of liked the idea of it being like sort of like, it's weird. I'm trying to think of an example of it, to be honest. But like, basically, like, I was a big fan of just like sort of like subliminal messaging and stuff, and the way that sort of could like appear like on your feed as just like something that shouldn't really be there. And then I remember like I basically had this old style, which is sort of like I just got went a bit like outside the walls of what I thought I originally planned to do with it, and I was trying to think of something new. And I was at the Tate Modern in London, and I was literally like, I was just walking around and I was like, I just had some demos in for like new songs and stuff. Like I had the demo for Living It Up and like a bunch of other songs. And I was just walking around and I stumbled across this room and it was just like full of like these like, I don't know if you can see it on my phone, but I've got a photo of it, which is like the main thing that like the whole like messages thing came from.
I mean, look, if you send us over, we can just like edit it in.
Okay, sick. Yeah. But like it was sort of those like just these like messages that were coming down on the screen, and they were like they were just like sort of like coming across, and it was really sort of quite apocalyptic, but at the same time quite like hopeful. I really like that sort of like desperate optimism. A friend of mine said once. So I thought like the idea behind the brand and the message was sort of like bring that across, sort of make it feel like it shouldn't be there, but it's like actually like an invitation to build a pie. That's what I try and do with it.
So 2020 has obviously been a bit of a write-off for most kind of big events.
Yeah.
March-ish. There was one big event in particular for the new, which was, of course, the BMAs, or the Birmingham Music Awards.
Yeah.
Is it 4 awards? Which is pretty big, actually. So can you guys tell us about this kind of achievement for you guys?
Sort of like a lot of screaming was happening that day. I was just sort of in my room and I was like, what? As the day went on, the last time I did genuinely scream. Yeah, it was, I don't know, man. It's like, it was quite a crazy thing. It took a while to settle in, really, because it was like, I'm not from Birmingham. I moved here for uni, and like, so like some of the members of our bands are in bands that are like around here already. Like our guitarist plays a band called Carcosa and Mark and a bunch of other bands, and like, so I always saw at the start, I sort of felt like I was like, sort of like going and seeing them and watching what they were doing and stuff. And I sort of like, I just sort of like was showing my face in quite a lot of places, and I didn't really think that like it would be recognised in the way it has done, especially with the BMAs. But like, I do love everyone at the BMAs. Like, I'll go to basically every single like event that they do, all the networking events anyway, just because they're like fun. Yeah, it was a really humbling thing, and it was a sort of like a massive like confidence boost that we were like heading in the right direction with what we're doing. Because sometimes, like, especially for me, as I'm leading the project, it's a solo project basically, so I can't really get banned with like artistic ideas and stuff like that. I sort of like, if the most I'll do is like I'll have an idea, I'll be like yes or no, what you think, and then but like it doesn't really take in. Their opinion isn't always something that I feel like I will be able to ask them of. So like just to be known that everything's going in the right direction was like a really humbling thing. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go when it's rescheduled for like November or something. But yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Like you were up with like some insanely big names, like UB40 was like one award that you were up with, and like Swim Deep was another one of the names that like you were nominated with, which is like crazy.
Yeah, I sent my mum that. I was like, Mum, I checked this, and she was like, what? I was like, yeah, no, we know, that's quite mad. Yeah, it was really humbling because like every single, like the best band category, every single band is like a lot bigger than we are. And like they've all got like teams of people working behind them and stuff. So it was humbling is like just the word I have to repeat of what it was that, and like just like felt really accepted in like the band community, which is cool.
So talking a bit more about events, can you tell us a bit about New Stock? So for anyone who doesn't know what it was, what was it, and how much time and effort went into planning that, and are there any more plans to put another one out there in the future?
So New Stock is it's sort of like it came from the idea of like things like Great Escape and Dr. Dot and stuff. Like we thought, a friend of mine, Cole Stock, who's also wicked, check out his music. We were in like a free. I think we had like a free period. Like we had a gap between a couple of our lectures. We went to this place called The Ruin for a pint, and we were just sort of like talking. We were like, there's nothing like Dr. Dot or Great Escape in Birmingham, but Birmingham's massive. And then we were sort of like, oh, like, why don't we do something like that? And then, so the idea behind it came, and then we were like, it was meant to be like a multi-venue thing around Big Birth, but then we thought to do these nights and the run up to it, and we did them at Mamaroos, and then we sort of realised that second year of uni is a lot more stressful than first year, so we decided just to do the one venue in the end this year, and sort of like for the actual festival itself, which is going to be at Dead Wax. So in the summer, like July of this year, we were meant to have a 2-day festival at Dead Wax, and they had a bunch of artists booked. And basically, like, I even put like a teaser up on the page of like we're about to announce this thing, but then like obviously because of the situation, do it. And then the plan is definitely for it to come back. I think I've already organised like one event so far for when we come back, and then the actual festival has been postponed until next year as well. I didn't put like a statement out or anything about it because we hadn't announced anything yet, so it was sort of like it was this lineup that didn't happen type thing. So it's definitely something that's not complete, like not finished at all. And like I do hope one day to sort of like I hope for it, like my dream for it is something like there's a band called Jane's Addiction and the singer Perry Farrell. They were like big in the late 80s, early 90s, and I only found out this like about like a month ago, but since then I've been like, that's what I want to do. It's he started Lollapalooza Festival, and like now that's just like a massive thing all over the world. I kind of wanted to be something like that eventually, but like started in Birmingham. I think that's it. I get behind it.
So speaking about the future, the Nu have got a single called One Life coming soon, I believe. Is there anything you could say to us about this?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely the most like nervous I've been for a release, and it's definitely doesn't sound like anything else that we've put out before. Like I've sort of like not tried to be commercial, but like I've sort of had this idea in my head of like, oh, like you should try and do stuff to like go on the playlists and stuff like that, and like stuff that's easily pitchable and stuff, just to sort of like get your name out there. But this like really came from a different place, and yeah, I'm excited for it. And like the other thing about it is like I've basically directed the music video for it as well, which is like something I haven't done before. It's one of the songs that instead of me sort of writing it because I'm like, I want to write something that I want to release, it was sort of like I turned to music for therapy as a lot. It's like, I find it very good for my mental health to like sort of express things that I don't understand in like a positive way, like making music. And One Life is definitely it started from that anyway. And now it sort of turned into this like trying to like sign of the times type thing. Like, but yeah, try not to say too much about it because I want the actual like the weight of it for people to see when it comes out.
So next up, what we like to do in some of our interviews is a little quick fire round. We just kind of throw a question forward and answer it with the first thing that kind of comes to your mind. So to start off, we have a playlist on Spotify called Soapy Bops, which is like go-to songs to sing in the shower. So when no one's around, you're in the shower, what's your go-to thing to belt out?
Yeah. What? For me?
Yeah.
Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa. I'll smash that song in the shower. That is such a tune.
Don't show up, don't come out.
Honestly, like my housemate gets sick of it.
So, out of all the venues you guys have played at as the Nu, what is your favourite?
Mama Rouge or the Sunflower. I can't decide. I have to go Mama Rouge. I love the Sunflower Lounge, but I just go there anyway. I love it. It's my favourite venue in Birmingham, but it's not my favourite venue we've played. That's Mama Rouge is definitely my favourite venue we've played. That place is incredible, and everyone that works there is so sound as well.
So, who would you say is your favourite band from Birmingham or the Midlands at the moment?
Ooh. I love the Novas. I always big respect to those guys. Echo Gecko as well. Like they just released a song I think it was yesterday, the day before, and I've been waiting for them to release that for so long. One of those two. There's so many though. Like I put this playlist out of loads of Birmingham artists of the day, so I feel like of course, Ladama. That's the other one I was thinking of. That they're probably the band I cherish the most in Birmingham. Out of all of them, I love that band, and so Mark as well. Sorry, I keep this one is always so hard because there's so many people. But there's more obviously. But yeah.
So, what would you say your funniest memory from gigging is?
Our first gig in Birmingham as a band was quite an experience. We played at this place called the Beer Keller on Broad Street, and we turned. I'm not gonna lie, my bassist Ollie wasn't in the band at the time. He basically put in a chat we need someone to do this gig, and I was like, yeah, we'll give it a go. We got there, and there was so you have monitors on the floor that face the band, so you can hear everything that's coming out of the speakers at the front. There was one of those for all four of us, and it didn't have a plug. There was no sound engineer, so we were I was sound checking myself and the rest of the band, and then with my guitarist at the time, Sam, we were basically doing sound for the whole night. The drummer Danny, who now was a drummer at the time. He plays in the back of Bermuda now at Stretch Leads, but at the time, he had this drum kit, and we weren't allowed to move it. But there was no rug underneath, so the drums were as we were playing, were sort of disappearing. And then towards the end of it, Danny was playing, and his hand basically went through one of the drum skins, and leads broke the whole time. It was a 15-minute set, and it took an hour and a half. It was crazy. I'd say the most that was probably the funniest thing we've done. Yeah, with the Nu, definitely. That was one I won't forget ever.
Who would you say your dream collaboration would be? Anyone dead or alive?
Oh, that's a hard. Either Chester Bennington or Freddie Mercury. One of those two, or Mike Shinoda. But Mike Shinoda for someone that's alive.
Okay, so probably you have to wrap it there. But before we go, have you guys got any social media or final messages you want to give to anybody?
Yeah. So Instagram is at the Nu official. We need 1,000 followers, so please follow us. And Facebook is just at We Are the Nu. And Nu is spelled NU. Twitter is the same, we are the Nu. I don't know, really. Messages like stay safe and all that, and like listen to One Life when it comes out on June 1st. That would be great. Yeah, that's about it, really.
Could you please stay the fuck inside?